Most brokers, when they hit 20 to 30 million, they hit a plateau and they either stay there or they burn out. In this episode, I'm going to share with you 5 ways that you can scale past 20 million and up to 100 million. And this comes from a conversation I had with an agent in the last week. I think you're really going to dig this. Hey, I'm Scott Peckford. This is the I Love Mortgage Brokering podcast. And the idea with the show is to give you ideas, tools, tactics to apply to your mortgage business. And we started this back in 2014, so over 10 years ago now. And I love talking to mortgage brokers, especially mortgage brokers who are motivated, mortgage brokers who are taking action. And even in this market, there's mortgage brokers still growing. Yes, it's been a more challenging market. I actually think this creates a massive opportunity for people who are sticking around and saying, this is going to be my career, because there's going to be a lot less competition. All right, let's jump into it. I had a conversation with this broker, just some context. I had him on the podcast back in December, and his name is Nate Atkin. And at the time, he had done 12 million in his pipeline in 100 days. Now he's got something like 30 million that he's done, and it's been less than a year. The guy's scaling absolutely crazy. It's been amazing to have that conversation with him. And so we talked about scaling, and the very first question I asked him is, because he was trying to decide which path do I go down, and I said to him, well, what do you want to be doing in 5 years? What do you want to be doing in 3 years? Because the one path he was considering was, should I go and get a bunch of agents and work under me and take a split? And that rarely works. I'm going to tell you right now that most of you, if you're good at finding business, that is not the path that you want to go down, because you're not going to make money doing it. And so we had that conversation. So I'm going to share with you the 5 tips that we talked about, or the 5 things that came from it. So the first tip idea was to build a production team around your superpower. So if your superpower is managing people, getting them motivated, getting them to do work, maybe it makes sense to build a team. Most people, that's not your superpower, because you get good at doing the actual talking. If you listen to the episode that came out recently with Renee Huse, she has, her superpower is actually talking to clients. And she went down the path of trying to build out a team and realized this is a nightmare. And when she dropped the team and focused on a production team, so there's a production team and then there's a agent that produces team, and I think they're separately completely, she added 100 files to her business in a year. And same thing with Nate. So I said, what do you want? He said, well, I want to be able to take a vacation. I want to be able to have deals get closed without me. I said, well, then don't go down the path of building a team, because when you're on vacation, somebody's going to be calling you saying, hey, I got a problem with the file. Oh, hey, I might be getting sued. Can you help me with it? Versus if you have a team around your superpower, they can cover your work for you and you can be off. So the first thing I'd say is you have to think that way. And the best model that is outside the mortgage business that I think matches this is the dentist. So you go to your dentist, they have a good one. My dentist has 5 chairs. And so there's 5 chairs where they're doing, the hygienist doing all the work. And then the last 10 minutes, he comes in, shakes my hand, comes over, high five, how's things, how's your kids? And then he leaves, and he's billing though, as if he's doing 5 clients at the same time, but he's only having to do 10 minutes. It's the same thing with your mortgage business. You should only be doing that, the part of the process that you're really good at. In most cases, it's convincing them to work with you, coming up with a plan, and then building the team around delivering on that plan and that process. So that's the first thing. The second thing I told them is, don't hire agents who want to be you. This is a mistake I've made, especially when you first start hiring. You're excited, you meet someone, you go, oh my gosh, I can see a little mini me in them. Look at their motivation, look at their drive. This is going to be fantastic. Here's the problem. If they want to be you, they are not going to keep working for you in most cases, because eventually they're going to go, wait a second, I'm making a small split working for you, but now that I know what I'm doing, I'm going to go work. You would want to hire me to come work for you. You hired me to come work for you. I will be there long enough to learn it backwards and forwards, and then I will likely be gone. And if I don't leave, I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to squeeze you on what I get paid, because that's just human nature. And it's not because people are being selfish. I've seen it happen so many times to people. So if you're not great at hiring, get a headhunter. And some of the best brokers that have built fantastic teams have actually paid money for headhunters. And what you want to do is hire people that have a bank employee mindset. They will trade security for opportunity. So there's two types of people I like to hire if I'm going to hire someone. One is somebody who's got a bank employee mindset. They are not going to want to be a broker. And 2 is the person who's gone out, tried to be a broker. They went out and did the sales thing, realized it's not for me, and they're happy to work part of your team. The person who still thinks that they can do this on their own is not the person that I want to hire, because I'm building a team around my superpower, and I don't need them training them to become my competition. Okay, the number 1 is build a production team around your superpower. Number 2 is don't hire agents who want to be you. Number 3, hire in stages, not all at once. For most of you, Nate is scaling so fast, so he's going to have to do this quickly, but you're going to hire in stages. And so the first stage of this, I would say, is even before you hire people to help you with your mortgage business, hire people to help you in your house. Hire somebody to cut your grass. Hire somebody to pick up your groceries. You can do all these things that actually take time away from, so that you have time to spend on your family and on your work. So that's kind of the first step. The next rung up, I would say, is fulfillment. And this is document collection and organization, because as you know, the amount of documents that we need to collect now have just gone through the roof. I mean, we've got fantastic technology, but somehow there's still so much time spent on this, and clients can't get you the information. I would recommend that you get a fulfillment person as the first step, as on the ladder. The next to that will be an underwriter. That's a person who can actually review the file, underwrite the credit, and come back to you and say, yes, Scott, here's your plan, but it's going to not work because of X, Y, Z, or it could work, but you got to do, you got to make this adjustment. Those people are going to be more expensive, but fulfillment is typically your first step in. And I like hiring people. You can start this. I'll talk about how you pay people here. You likely, when you start out, you're going to either hire somebody part-time, unless you're really busy. You can hire them part-time. You can share with somebody, so then that's lower cost, or you can pay them a fee per file. It doesn't scale long-term if you want to keep going, especially when you get to 100 million like Nate does. That's not going to be the optimal way. It's going to be a barrier to scale at some point. And then the last person that you hire, so that's fulfillment, underwriter, a junior salesperson. This is a person who can actually do the discovery calls for you, so that when you're on that vacation, when you're in Tahiti for 2 weeks and you want to turn your phone off, somebody's still getting the files done, right? And that's going to be a different person typically than the underwriter. And that is the last one that you need to hire. But you can do a lot of files. You can do 300 files, at least in Canada. You can do 300 files a year without another salesperson, just you, and you build a team around your superpower and your production. Number 4, pay bonuses based on units, not volume. So you're going to have to pay these folks, pay them a good set, find good people, give them a salary, because again, you don't want to put them on a commission split. Commission splits are going to become a handcuff to your growth. What's going to happen is that as your volume goes up, you're going to be paying some of these people $200,000 a year, and it's going to prevent you. And I've seen this happen to top producers. They weren't able to hire another assistant because they were paying one person $200,000 a year when they could have had two for 200, right? Or one for 120 and one for 60, and they would get way more productivity. And the problem is that I don't like paying splits based on the volume of the file or the dollar. I like to pay it based on units. Units is actually work. Volume doesn't equal work. Units do. So it's important that you track the units, and then you can have, and especially if you have months that are higher, you can pay more because they're going to have to work harder. You can pay bonuses based on that, and you could set a minimum threshold. If we only do 10 units in a month, it's this. It's maybe it's no bonus, and once we get past a certain number, then they start to earn a bonus. There's lots of ways you can do it. Depends on how you want to structure it. So, and then number 5, you need to be able to protect your time. The best way to do that is to not manage a bunch of agents, because their mistakes become your mess. Their compliance issues become your mess. Their legal issues become your mess. And as a guy who's running a brokerage right now, and you're probably thinking, Scott, why are don't you run a brokerage? Yes, we do. But the only way this works is if you get to scale, and we're getting to scale. We've done $2 billion in the last, just looking back the last 12 months, and on the looking forward is probably $2.5 to $3 billion that we're going to do in the next 12 months. But we've got a great team around this, and I am not in every part of this business, and it only works at scale because otherwise it's not worth doing. So that way, if you have your production team, you stay in production, you focus on your superpower, you get better and better and better, and you build a team and you build people and processes around the stuff that you don't do. That's what I recommend to Nate. That's what I recommend to you if you want to really get your business to 30 million. If you want to get to 100 million, that's absolutely what you need to do. So let me give you a quick recap. Number 1, build a production team around your superpower. That's when you listen to the episode that I just dropped earlier this week. That's what she talks about. She understands, she knows what she's good at, knows what she's not good at, and focus specifically on building her superpower around that. Number 2, don't hire agents that want to be you. You're going to just create your competition. It is not going to be worth it. Side tip, get a headhunter if you suck at hiring. Number 3, hire in stages, not all at once. So fulfillment, right? Underwriting, junior salesperson. That's going to be the last one you need, and you'll be crushing it by then. Number 4, pay based on units, not on volume, because units equal work. And number 5, protect your time by not having individual agents, but by having a production team. I hope you found that useful. I'm Scott Peckford, and as I always say, there's no problem in your mortgage business that someone else hasn't already solved. The problem is who's got the answers. The goal with this podcast is to provide some of those answers. Oh, one last thing I'll say is if you're listening to this, 2 things to check out. 1, there's this fantastic tool called ownwell.ca. It's for Canadian mortgage brokers. Think of it as HomeBot. It allows homeowners to track their home equity and buying power, and it creates amazing conversations for mortgage brokers or with clients, because they don't know what they don't know, and the open rates on these reports are 60 to 80%. That's the first thing. The second thing is I've created an email called 321 Thursday email, kind of copy James Clear, my own version of that, but it's specifically for mortgage brokers, and it is the most useful email for mortgage brokers. And if you want to get on that email list, you can click on this show, find me on social media. You can click on my little link tree, get on that email list. Every week I put together content ideas. I put together things that I'm learning. I'm experimenting with AI like crazy. And the idea is to give you stuff for brokers to use every single week. Get on that list. Thanks for listening. And I will see you on the next episode.